that, yeah, nothing really compares to it. It's when the conditions are flawless and the, the winds are blowing offshore, and it has the sense of like there's a little chill in the air, and the winds are coming from the mountains and valleys, and you see the lines, and the you hear the coconut trees, and it's just like really heavenly. It's definitely a piece of heaven, and it goes both ways. When the winds churn onshore, you can smell the salt and sea breeze, and that's just as special because a lot of times when that happens, for on an island, one side of the island is going off. So it's yeah, nothing can compare, and it's the feeling I've always looked forward to, just getting out in the water and being at peace.
You're unmuted. I hear you. Do you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Oh, epic, man. Epic. I can't thank you enough for joining us.
Yeah, the pleasure's all mine. Thanks for thinking of me.
Yeah, bro. You want to get right to it?
Yeah, no problem. Whatever. I'm
All right, yeah. Let
I'm
me
glad
let
I.
me yeah, dude. Real quick, like I'm trading my boy Rob Brown. You know Rob Brown, Volcom surfer.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, dude.
I
Yeah,
look up to Bob greatly.
oh, he's the man. I'm training with him for the Molokai. He's doing Molokai, and I'm gonna jump in and give him the water bottle. So we're working together. And I was talking to him, and I was like, I'm interviewing Gavin here in a few minutes, and he's like, dude, his head blew up. So he's big ups from Rob Brown.
Yeah, he's a man. I've looked up to him a lot.
That's
Always
epic.
been a good friend. Yeah.
All right, let me start this intro, then we'll get to it.
Okay.
All right. Welcome to Speaking from Water, episode 46. Now, this evening, it's a very special episode. Anyone who was a surfer or comes from the 90s, 2000s, there's an idol that we all have. And he's with us here tonight. His style's iconic. You view him as who you would want to be on the beach. And I'm here with no other than Gavin Beschen from the North Shore of Oahu. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Likewise, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Gavin, thank you for coming in. So, how's your day going? How's the North Shore today?
It's big and stormy. We have weather like early season cold weather in March. It's really beautiful, but it's awkward. But it made it easier during the workday. Nice and cold.
Epic. So, you've had a really good winter. Can you tell us about the winter so far, 2024?
Um, yeah, it's been I've been really busy working and trying to fit in surfing when I can, and yeah, and then just like everyone, just shuffling and trying to make the ends meet and just give everything I got when I get my children every once in a while. So it's that's pretty much my main priority, and then working to stay afloat, and definitely surfing for whenever I get a chance, no matter what the waves are like. So
Well, I know I've been following you on the Instagram, and you're still surfing better than ever. And everyone knows your style. It's iconic, like I said. And I'd like to kind of go back to the beginnings. San Clemente, when you were a young kid, what was that like? And when did you really feel the power of the ocean and the joy that it gives you?
I was very blessed. My dad was a surfer. I mean, so for him to pass that on to me was like the ultimate blessing, for him to express and let me know that like I'll always have a friend in the water, with myself, and just being at peace in doing something like surfing really helped me. It's taken me um, everywhere I ever wanted to be in life, and yeah, not only my dad and my brother, but everyone who was from there and their friends, and it was just a really amazing melting pot of talents from not only surfers but musicians, artists, skateboarders, and I mean, there was guys who did it all, and everywhere, everyone was always pushing each other in whatever field that they loved to do. So being from San Clemente was a very, very lucky time, and I was blessed to have my folks support me and let me choose that path, you know. So
And you're speaking late 80s, early 90s, and this was such a pivotal moment for surfing and the counterculture of skateboarding and the music. Just generally, can you dial a little bit more down to what the zeitgeist, the culture was at that time, and who were the people that really influenced you in your young years, I guess, in that culture?
oh man, the list of San Clemente locals is a long one. Pretty much everyone since I was in diapers was helping me. Oh man, just look over me and really help push me. And pretty much everyone that was from there, from that time frame, was a very important aspect of um, who I am to this day, and I still use that and do my best to carry that with me, and just be grateful for that time, and to be amongst it all. So
Yeah, and you're known for your style, your just way of being. Was there someone then who was the seed that you were like, man, that's the guy who I want to be like? And
yeah, well, can you hear me?
yep, yep.
Okay. Well, there was such an eclectic group of people, from competitive surfers to guys like who were just underground rippers, and I pretty much acquired inspiration from like everyone that was surfing. Everyone had such a unique outlook, and some were competitive, and some were free surfers, and some were, we had a lot of guys who like to surf bigger waves from our town too, and that those guys all drove me. And we had from the longboarding um, uncles like the Baxter family, and all the McNulty's, the list goes on, like Mike Parsons, and there was just an endless McNulty's, all the brothers. It was like very family orientated, and I was blessed. When I was even when I was 10, they were still um, all real supportive, and not supportive in like trying to be someone, just more supportive in like just having fun, and you know and getting better, and progressing. And that era definitely was a incredible recipe for inspiration.
And you were in contests for a good period of your early career uh, with your brother. How was that? And was that just like what you had to do to go into more of a professional setting with surfing? And can you speak to contest surfing just maybe in general?
Yeah, of course. Back then, the roads to being a professional, that there wasn't the free surfing as much outlets. So I never did good in contests, but I was blessed to have my dad support me and take me to kids contests. You know, the WSA, and and yeah, it was a real good eye opener, and it really introduced me to a lot of good uh, friends up and down the coast. I mean, I was blessed to have at the age of 10 from from Hawaii to Santa Cruz all the way to the coast, and you know they are still some really good friends to this day, and I've been blessed that maybe I didn't do so good in contests, but it it brought me to and led me to a lot of very good friends, and I think as a competitive surfer, you after you lose a lot, you start to question like why or what's this for. But when it all comes down to the end of the day, it's like sitting with your friends and expressing that how much fun surfing is, and and that camaraderie and the tribal union of everyone is that's just more important. And of course, winning is good too. It helps you get by, and it's fuel on the fire. But you gotta use the losing as fuel as on the fire as well. That's for sure. You can't give it up.
Yeah, like I got to tell you, you might not remember this, but I know you definitely don't remember this, but I do. I was 21 years old. You had just done this contest in Newcastle, and the party was going on at the Great Northern, and I ran into you, and I was like, man, Gavin Beschen, we kicked it, man, and like you were the nicest guy ever. And I just want to say, like, that sums up really just your giving personality and beach lifestyle. And when I say like every surfer wanted, like in my college when we were growing up, like wanted to be like you, it was you had this beach style um, love that you radiated. And I'm wondering, do you is this something that's just part of you, or did you learn this from the ocean? And I guess speak to the aloha mantra that you seem to radiate.
It's I think I do my best to like cultivate it, because a lot of days, you're you don't feel like you're radiating it, and you're just like days after work and stuff. It's like when you go out and surf, you just you don't always feel like you're radiating the aloha, because you just want to catch some waves, call it a day. So it's a cultivation of, I think, you gotta the mantra is like you gotta cultivate it, and really have put your faith in it, that acknowledging that everyone's got something going on somewhere down the line is, and just to be grateful. And you got to definitely work at like keeping your positivity, because the reverse is a lot the reversal of positive is a way easier to fall down that rabbit hole than trying to pick yourself up and stay grounded, and keep you know keep that positive aloha thriving. So
Would you say time in the water nurtures that feeling, that emotion?
as a surfer, there's no better um spiritual sort of awakening, because it as a part of as it being a part of your soul and what you love. If you disregard it, then you won't feel the same. Everyone who loves to surf and they don't, it's you know it's the best medicine that you can give, from either a beginner or someone who's been doing all their life, just to get them up and take them to the beach and surf. And after the experience of surfing and um, coming back to the beach and, sharing that energy, because pretty much it's really contagious, like when someone's excited. And sometimes nowadays I get the contagiousness of that excited. And this comes from my son and watching him. And that's what really keeps me going. If I'm too tired or worked out, and I can just sit on that shore break and watch my boy and his friends surf, and it's just like nothing brings me more happiness and closer. It's a spiritual thing too, just knowing that he's got a friend with that ocean. And that's what I really like to see.
That's so beautiful. And uh, how is he enjoying surfing, and how have you engaged surfing to him as a youngster? A lot of parents, they might force their kids into surfing. What was kind of your take as a father, bringing surfing to your son, being such a famous surfer yourself?
Yeah, like with my son and my daughter, our number one rule is, when I ask how are you going to surf, it's like it's defensively. So we're going to be on defense with the people in the water and the lineups. And I don't necessarily need him to be a competitive surfer or the best in the world, but I just want him to really enjoy it personally within him. And yeah, and that's a tough one because I really want to see him, you know, improve. And but at the same time, we got to wave the white flag and just let them cultivate that excitement. And I think the spark of being with friends is the number one key, because without that, it's just not the same. If you're alone and you're surfing and there's nobody around for a month, and you see someone that you don't even know who that person is, and you're just running down the beach, hey, that's my friend, let's go surf. And that's what I learned from my son. He sees a kid a mile away, and that's my friend. And I'm like, how do you know? He's like, he's just playing in the water. And okay, go get him. So he's really helped guiding me too, as much as like looking up to the elders. I really look up to the youth.
Yeah, going back to your roots and your family, I heard a story that you told about your dad and how he would put you guys, you and your brother Shane, on the beach, and he'd go surf. And I'm like thinking, is that a way of just, you guys like wanted it because you weren't even, it didn't sound like you're being you know forced to it. You're being shown it, and that might have been a great development. What are your thoughts on how you were raised by your dad and in the ocean there?
Yeah, definitely in the beginning, we were raised just on the shores and shore break, boogie boarding, and we learned standing up on the boogie board before, we got to get a surfboard. And yeah, our dad he loved surfing, but he sacrificed it all to be, he worked building houses as a general construction contractor. So we also had a taste of what it was like to be had to work with him. So he showed us the other side of reality at a young age, of taking us to work with him and having to pull nails or do labor. And it really made us want to get better and progress. And it really gave us an appreciation for the times when we did get to surf. And and he really instilled that sense of respect. And and I feel that's where a lot of I've been blessed with, having that as a kid growing up, having that, not just surf, 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 but oh man, my dad coming in and saying, okay, you want to surf, we're gonna have to work, and it really opens your eyes as a kid to like the reality of how bad do I want it, so I was blessed as that as well. So he taught me how to work when I was young, and now it's paying off because that's what I'm doing now. I'm like full circle, back doing this labor. So it's good.
Well, you came of age in a time of surfing history that was so uh the magazines were popping off, the brands had money, and you come out to the North Shore. What year was it? 1994, 1996?
Yeah, around 94, I probably started riding for Volcom in the beginning of 94, and by then I was definitely, my heart and home was in Hawaii, so everything I loved and where I wanted to excel in was here, and
And
definitely time for me to just move on out of San Clemente. And even though I had such good friends and family, and we had a really good time, my time was, for me it was, Hawaii was my home, and so that's what I focused on from then on out.
can you tell us about that first trip to Oahu when you landed, you got off the plane, you smelled the air that you've never smelled before, you drive over the hill to the North Shore. Can you give us what that was like from Gavin Beschen's perspective?
um my uncle lived over here since I was a little kid, so I think even in elementary school when I'd visit him, he lived in Hawaii Kai. We would just body surf and boogie board, and my godfather lived in Kauai, and I mean, I think that's what really, even before I was surfing, I was deeply in love with, the water and the way of life and the people, and the music, the food, just the land, it was really like engraved in me, at that point. And by the time I was 10, and just pretty much surfing and starting in the contest scene, um, I was definitely hooked. My first year here, surfing big waves, I turned 15, and yeah, I surfed some like big pipeline and big sunset, and all the other waves, and I just knew that's where I wanted to be and where I wanted to excel. And but when I went home, I ended up breaking my leg, and I wasn't surfing like pretty much the whole year of when I was 16. So I think that really changed my outlook of competitive surfing and what I wanted to do and why, because I just wanted to surf, you know. So it really fueled my fire for, chase that dream, and been living my dream as best as I can, since then.
And you really have. The I would like to know from you, when you first got to the North Shore at 15, before you got injured, and you're surfing Sunset, you're surfing Pipeline. What were those sessions like? You're a young guy. How Hawaii is so heavy. You got, the guys with more weight kind of handle it, and I imagine you are you're on the lighter side probably at 15 years old. How were those sessions? Did you get pounded? Were you pinning them like you did later in your life? Like how was it?
Yeah, I mean, when you go from California to big second reef sunset, and get caught inside, and yeah, it definitely changes your perspective on things. And the crowds were extremely, a whole nother level back then too. So um yeah, I still won't forget some of the first waves I caught from Backdoor and Pipeline and Big Sunset. I mean, I'm pretty sure like I was lucky also to have uncles that were friends of the San Clemente family, and they pretty much helped cheer me on the side where I would sit. So to have that support of someone who is who knows what they're doing, and them showing you the path and how to just be yourself. And I was lucky to have that as well when I first came here. So besides my brother, I had a lot of very, very lucky people showing me and helping me, and yeah, I just try to always utilize their knowledge and take that with me everywhere I go.
Do you remember the best wave from that year? Does it come to your mind? Do you have an image of that? And where were you?
Yeah, my best first wave at Backdoor, Michael Ho gave me, and then yeah, the best big waves at Second Reef Pipeline. I don't even know if Liam remembers, but he gave me one of the best waves that I ever got. When I was just like, you know, 6, 17, and then I had Derek. Those all these guys, they've been such. The list goes on. I mean, from each spot, there's been such uh, a good support and understanding. Back then, it wasn't like you can go and just make like you can surf any spot of the reef. So you really had to watch your step, and there was an extreme level of respect. And nowadays, it's a lot more free for all. And even though the kids are just a whole nother level of, but yeah, I distinctly remember the waves that were passed on and the lessons that I was taught, both good and bad, from not listening and then to really buckling down and, bowing down and listening and take your lickings. And, you gotta, some uncles like, you say you got to get through the white water to, get to the blue waters. And that really has a lot to do with not just surfing, but in life. You got to really put in your time and uh, through all the ups and downs. Then eventually you'll get a good wave, but you can't just expect it. So
You mentioned Derek Donor. Did in your list of great people there? Can you comment? Derek is a great friend of mine. He's been on the show before. I've been out there numerous times, and he's always just showed me great love. He's battling cancer, as we know. Can you say anything about Derek from your history?
oh man, as a kid and looking up to uncles of that level, and that not only level of surfing and but that level of aloha that he shared, and has always treated me the same. Even to this day, I surf with him, and he is just one of the most inspiring, realist humans I could ever been blessed with. You know, from him to Michael and Derek and the list goes on. I mean, it's just been those guys have very much influenced me, and just doing our best to maintain that spirit of aloha and love for surfing and the next generation, and respect for the elders. Yeah, he is, and he does it very seriously, but with the ultimate sense of humor. So it's like it makes you want to take from that and utilize it and put it into your everyday existence.
Yeah, we love Derek here. He's a Wrightsville Beach boy. Actually, he went from Wrightsville Beach to lifeguarding at Waimea with Eddie, and I think that's such a crazy dynamic, you know. And respect, Derek. Love you. So, uh, the North Shore for me has always just been this magical place, and I know it is for you too. Um, for those who don't know about the North Shore and don't really understand, I guess, because this is a water show, not everyone might be a surfer. Can you kind of describe the smell, the aesthetic of the walk to the beach? Maybe you're going out at Rocky Point, like I've seen you do before in the past, and what that trip's like, and how that feels.
Um, that yeah, nothing really compares to it. It's when the conditions are flawless and the winds are blowing offshore, and it has a sense of like there's a little chill in the air, and the winds are coming from the mountains and valleys, and you see the lines and the you hear the coconut trees, and it's just like really heavenly. It's definitely a piece of heaven, and it goes both ways. When the winds churn onshore, you can smell the salt and sea breeze, and that's just as special because a lot of times when that happens, if we're on an island, one side of the island is going off. So it's yeah, nothing can compare, and it's the feeling I've always looked forward to, just getting out in the water and being at peace.
And when the North Shore is going off, what kind of is your go-to spot that you're like, all right, I'm checking that first, or I'm going out there first?
Um, with all the varieties of waves here, I mean, there are usually a certain direction and lineups. So I mean, waves that you'll be able to recognize as the more quality wave of that time frame, or those conditions and the swells. So you usually try to see what the swells are doing, and but I like all the waves from VLAN to Haliva, and so I'll really just kind of see what calls me. It's like you gotta be, when sometimes you might not feel it, but if the ocean's inviting you, you want to look for that inviting type of waves. Like for me, if I see the waves of like pipeline and backdoor and off the walls, and that just it won't take much for it to either say, oh, maybe not today, or yes, it's worth it. Go out there and put in our time, and hopefully we can obtain a nice ride and come in safe. And so, but that sunset and all the waves are so magical. So you just it happens really quick. So you want to be aware of where it's happening, because you'll blink your eye and you'll be like, where was this? And they'll be like, oh, that was a sandbar. And you'll just be like, and it changes so quick. So you really want to stay on top of it. So when you're working and you work all day, and it doesn't matter. When you get done and the waves look even somewhat inviting, you're just like running towards it just to rinse the day off. So yeah, now I mean, it could be however size, and it could be 1 foot, and I'm taking my 10, 11 footer out, just a longboard, and get in the water, or it could be 10 foot, and I'm taking my 8-0, so it's just having that equipment that really makes you want to get out there, so I love all the waves.
And you speak of equipment, all the footage I've always watched of you, you're very on the face of it, you have the classic thruster going on. Is that your favorite kind of setup, or do you have others?
Nope, I'm pretty much just a traditional thruster guy. I have a I have a Chris Flickemeyer longboard. It's a single fin, so that keeps me like gliding when the waves are flat. I love- and then I've been riding Timmy Patterson since I was 17 too. So um, yeah, I definitely don't need to look more further than that.
And your style is so iconic. Can you speak to your style and then just style in general? And is style something that a person should just find themselves, or should they look to someone to emulate? And kind of what's your philosophy, I guess, if you were to tell your son or others out there listening?
Oh yeah, I don't talk to my son about style. I just sort of let that evolve and uh, have them obtain it. You know, I think putting them with, like I said before, their friends, and you know, they'll really start to come into their styles as they grow. I mean, when we're starting from when we make our growth spurts, and there's so many things that have an effect on your style as you go from a younger kid, say 10 to 15, and then even from 15 to 20, these kids are huge now. They're all training, and so I think that evolves as you grow and you look to others as influential people, and the broader the influence, and the more you can narrow in on what you like and how you want to hold yourself. I think that comes with age, and but it's good seeing, you know, the first styles that comes out of the kid. You know, it's like, oh, and then you'll see it evolve, and they'll kind of grow into it. So but it's something I don't like to push, you know, because I think everyone's style is so unique. You know, you can, as a surfer, you really are able to hone in on someone, and if you're sitting with someone who doesn't surf, they'll be like, "How do you know that that's person?" And you just be like, "Ah, you could just tell." And just by the way they paddle, sometimes, you know, or it's uh, it's all relative, and you know, just finding your own thing that makes you happy, and just, yeah, doing your thing.
Well, your off the top carve is so iconic, and you could it's you from a mile away in any footage if you're looking down the beach. And I personally love it, man. Like, respect.
Thank you.
Yeah, bro. Like, so when Gavin Beschen is going down the wave, what's going through your mind? Like, do you already have a preconceived notion of what you're going to do? Or I guess the heart of my question is flow. And when you're in a flow state, what does that feel like? What does that look like? And what is your brain doing?
I guess it just is like a form of surrender, surrendering to what the wave has to offer, and surrendering to our equipment and our, you know, maybe our state of how sore we are. Like, oh, you know, you realize real fast your weak links when you try to go surf. It's a rude awakening. If you know, it'll let you know real fast where your weak links are, and but obtaining that flow, I guess, would just um, come with just really trying to be relaxed in that one, is, and just knowing where you are in the lineup, and how you want to address that wave is sort of up to the wave, and then if you know the wave or where it's like what it's doing, then it'll help you express yourself more freely, because then you'll have a little prior um, foreshadowing of, say, an open canvas. You know, you really want that open canvas to express yourself. So I think finding that moment in the wave to where it's just opens up, and then you got this brief moment. It doesn't last long, but you know, if you got that split second moment to where you can just be at one with the wave, either inside the tube or doing a cutback, or now it's just all like guys are just chucking huge airs, and I love seeing all the aspects. It's really good to see. I think now, just everyone. There's so many genres, and it's really good to see it getting back to culture. And you got all kinds, you know, guys who are excelling, and you know, the state of surfing and the extremism is just phenomenal. I mean, what people are doing in the, you know, the sports that, you know, from foiling to stand up paddling to, you know, it's just phenomenal.
And how do you view, I guess, you've seen the whole arc of the surf industry. How do you view the surf industry today as someone who has been sponsored by Volcom and still is, and the activities, as you say, in the water are amazing and beautiful, but how do you view the business of surfing and the industry of it?
Well, I think there's always highs and lows, and with the last few years that everyone took was a major low for our whole world. So I mean, everyone's just trying to shake off that epidemic of the COVID, and I think now that that's passed, and I think it's tough, you know, it's when you see it, and you just I think I have faith that it'll rebound, and even though before it was flourishing a lot more, I think that, you know, eventually I see so many good, incredible surfers without sponsors. I just sit and scratch my head and I say, how in the world is this kid, or not even a kid, this guy who surfs huge jaws, or you know what I mean? It's like, or is on the WCT, or you know, you just are like, you know, it makes you wonder sometimes, and you know, you definitely at my age, I just take what I can get, and I'm not in the negotiating position as a lot of the kids are, but it's just, you know, for me, Volcom has always been such a family orientated company that I've been blessed. A lot of the friends I've made from then my first days, I'm still just such best friends with. And I that to me is as important as anything. You know, I still have friends that this company has brought me to, and if you're part of that kind of union, I think it really helps as you grow, and really helps you want to get better and be a part of that that family style. So I think that's what a lot of people are doing. If they're not making their own companies, they're, you know, really trying to get people who are good and good together as a team. And yeah, I really like that aspect of, you know, the industry is tough, you know, but you know, you just got to keep surfing no matter what. I think, you know, finding that love.
And you've been with Volcom for almost 30 years now. You really are the public face of them, from my perspective, at following surfing that long and through the magazine era and the videos. And just shouts out to the Volcom team here in Wrightsville Beach. I got a board right there, Jonathan Mitchner's board. I bought off him for my son Dax, who's he's 9 years old. And like any other company, I would have scratched that sticker right off. But like Volcom holds this aura of core, and the aesthetic of art that surrounds it is so unique. While I'm at it, shouts out Mark Yonkers, Rob Brown. Um, so the the Volcom movies, particularly from the beginning till the new skateboarding ones, have a way about them. And you're surfing in those early movies and the movies in the 2000s that Volcom put out. I'm thinking like uh, there's a list of them, but can you speak to the aesthetic? Who developed that, and what kind of role did you play aside from your surfing? Because they are absolutely unique and art museum worthy.
Oh, thanks. I feel like I've put all my faith and trust in what they do. And in the beginning, with Richard Wolcott and Troy, I mean, they were such hardcore surfers. I mean, their visions of it was I had complete faith in. And not only that, but like you said, the other family of the musicians and the friends I met with who played music. And I know Mincher and I know Rob Brown. Those guys are incredible skaters, and they're snowboarders. I've had the privilege of meeting some incredible guys, and I don't see them all the time, but I surely have been blessed to know them. And it's always been really good like that. The family orientation of the gathering of the individuals is I think, yeah, they really encouraged you to be yourself. And I was lucky they let me to be myself. And from then they're creative genius guys, between Ryan Thomas and Troy and Richard, and you have Remy, and the list goes on. All the guys we're filming with. It's just they made it nothing but fun. If you called it work, and then and that you were crazy, because we just all loved doing what we did so much. And I feel that's what they encouraged. And I think that really helped people grow. And it's hard to do sometimes, finding that encouragement to be yourself, when you're starting out. So
Yeah, Rob Brown and Mark Yonkers. I went out to the North Shore 16 years in a row, and every single year, I'd only go out for a week or two, staying with Tim Shanley and Kathy Shanley down at Backyards. Shouts out to the Shanleys. And
yeah.
every single year, the boys from Riceville Beach would be posting up at Pipeline, surfing for months, and it was very inspiring. And I was telling you at the start of this podcast, I was on the phone with Rob, and he's like, Gavin, I would come in from Pipe, and he'd be drinking a beer, and he'd go and get a cup, and then split the beer with me and at the Volcom house, and the camaraderie, and he the camaraderie of the Volcom house is a magical thing in itself. Can you speak to how Volcom got beachfront property there at Pipeline, how they've just invited their crew, their team, and what that's meant to you guys over the years?
Well, they came a long way from the beginning houses. And they definitely, once that time hit where they were able to capitalize on the place like Pipeline, I think it was a no-brainer after the other houses they had. And old V-Land and the Backyards. And it didn't just happen. I mean, they had other houses, and they made small stepping stones to obtain this amazing, now just a ultimate area for gathering of the people who love to surf Pipeline. And the families of there's just endless people that it has encouraged. And now with the new era of these kids. They're cemented into this um, beautiful thing that the kids have this place they can come in from surfing and be safe, you know. And not only that, they're being looked out after, not only by the lifeguards of the North Shore, but they're being looked out after all the friends and family of the house. So, and nothing beats that, coming in from a session and then watching your best friend just get the best barrel. He's getting half of your beer for after you're watching Rob get his barrel. Those guys are nothing short of incredible humans and surfers.
So epic. And you live down the road, just a little skip down to Rocky Point. I had the honor of visiting that compound one time and to take some photos. You weren't there. I think Shane invited me in. Do you guys still have that spot?
No, a lot's happened, but we had to get rid of it in 2016. But I'm just down the way at Sunset, and he's just up on the hill, just above it. So we haven't gone too far, but it was definitely an amazing 18 years at the spot. We took we were very lucky to have, Jack and Trent Johnson's mom obtain us that land in '99. We poured all our heart and soul into making it the dream land that it was. And so now new families live there, and they haven't changed a thing. So it's good to see that what you created is still standing, standing strong.
And are you still gardening?
I don't have this land that I used to, but I'm doing it for work. I do anything for work nowadays, but I find myself but yeah, I love still getting dirty, and I I don't have the opportunities much, but it's definitely one of my things I love.
And earlier you mentioned when we were talking about flow, the ocean telling you that, hey, maybe you're not as in shape as you thought you were. Over the years, what have you done to when you're on land to stay healthy, stay in shape, and what are you doing in these times? And you're older now, but you're still surfing amazing. Can you give the listeners out there some words of wisdom as to how to maintain good physical health for surfing as you age?
Oh wow, yeah. For me to keep surfing, I just need to keep applying myself in the water, and then not only in the water, but doing your best to. I don't lift weights. I don't like train or do anything like that, but I definitely do my best to stay flexible. And I think that overall is one of my main objectives is just keeping flexible and trying to, breathe in the right air. I don't want to be out in the water breathing in some pissed off guy's air, or I want to, breathe in the kid who's just got the biggest smiles air. I want to absorb that kind of energy, and just being careful of that energy you absorb and your surroundings, I think, is what will help. Um, but yeah, keeping flexible and positive, and just applying yourself, whether it's 1 foot wave or whatever these guys are doing at the 100-foot level now. It's like, but you see them all just never slowing down, always applying themselves, from their daily day as in one form or another, they're doing their best to, if they can't surf, maybe go skateboard or go for a walk, or trying to just keep moving and not giving up.
And music has always been a big part of your life. You have those beautiful guitars behind you. I've seen you enjoyed your music on Instagram. Can you speak to your music and the music that inspires you? I guess through the cultural zeitgeist, thinking reggae, even maybe California rap growing up. Speak to music.
Well, it's been my go-to on land for my getaway. When I put on my music, it's all genres from reggae, rap to classics to a lot of blues, even faster music. Starting out with Metallica and Slayer, and just evolving to like watching bands in Corona with my friends. Like bands of like Suffocation and faster, like metal bands, and I just really admire what it does, and it's just such a part of me that when I come home from work, if I don't surf, I just will ground myself by playing guitar. And it's kind of like when you play guitar, hearing yourself speak. You can really realize your weak links, and you're like, oh man, do I sound like that? Or so. And yeah, it's a good mind getaway and meditation for me, just like it is for someone to sit down and stretch or do yoga. So that, and art, I like to paint and do doodles, and that really helps me too. And just trying to keep that beginner's mind, and like have fun, not too serious. But
When you're in the lineup before the waves come and you're waiting, are you thinking in music or are you thinking in word thoughts?
majority of the time, I'm definitely doing my best to have a song stuck in my head. Yeah, you do your best to keep away from the thoughts of your mind in your brain. You'd rather have some positive song on repeat, that you like to keep some flow and a rhythm, and having music is definitely that for me in my head.
Well, Gavin, you have just enlightened us to the core this evening and your afternoon in Hawaii. I'll let you go here in a second, but before we go, I would really like to know, in your mind's eye, what do you have the perfect wave that has happened to you, or has there been so many? And do you have one that comes to mind by any chance? And was it in Hawaii or was it maybe somewhere else?
um, it's crazy. I've had some of the most amazing life changing waves throughout my career as a surfer, and I think it's always like I want to get better. I'm still waiting for that. Um, you know, I have had a lot of fun waves, but it's like I still want to improve. I still want to get better, and I'm still looking for another level of a perfect ride, and whether it's on my longboard or it's on my guns. But I think having those little baby steps at getting all these waves, it helps you obtain to the next level. I mean, so me practicing on my longboard will really help me in the future as I'm waiting to get my next tube. And but yeah, I think you have memorable waves that you carry with you in your life, and you might have gotten better ones, but they've just been pivotal times. And a wave will come to you, and they'll be special in certain times, and it's nothing is better than that. And that's what you're always striving for, is just you know looking for that ride that you can come in on and be be extremely content. And it doesn't happen every session, that's for sure, but you're always looking to keep getting better and looking for a bigger and better wave. And um, that definitely keeps me going for sure. And I think I just feel like always going to be searching for that next best wave, or best feeling.
Well, some of the most iconic shots of you are super deep at pipeline backdoor. Can you describe for us what that deepness feels like, what the water looks like, and the emotion of the accomplishment of coming out of that?
Yeah, I've I've had people, I've shared surfing and taught surfing with a handful of different beginners, and I've had them all paddle back up to me, and some have been guys who fly F-17s, and some people who have paddled canoe all their lives, and they've gotten 100-yard long right on the longboard, and they come back out with the biggest smile, and they just look at me and say, I think this can be called spiritual. And that's what it is. It's something that you're one with Mother Nature, and that's the boss. And when you surrender to her, and and she gives you a good ride, and she just, it's nothing feels more like a blessing from the universe than catching those waves we look for. And that's no better feeling than being one with nature.
100%. What advice do you have for the kids out there who are wanting to be the pro surfers of tomorrow in these times?
um I would say, just like with advice for wanting to be a surfer, I would say, like, someone who would be asking you what to do with their money, and as a somebody, you want to diversify, and you want to diversify yourself. You don't want to just be stuck in one niche. You want to diversify yourself. You want to so you're good at surfing, well, then diversify yourself. Become, like, a lot of times I see guys become reps, and that's like their diversification, and the ability to adapt and evolve is, that is a really critical point. So um don't put everything else down for surfing. Just you know make sure it's a important, fills up your necessity of, that way when you go to sleep at night, you're not haunted by not surfing. you know but having other goals and other ambitions and other things that keep you um excited and thriving and wishing to get better at, I would say, just keep diversifying, and then it'll lead you to where you want to be.
Incredible advice for all the kids out there. And last question for you before we go. Gavin, what is the meaning of life according to Gavin Beschen?
Hmm. Well, I've read a lot about that, and I think it's pretty a simple mantra, or something you want to live, doing what you love and doing it with the people you love, and not giving up. And no matter where you're from, or what someone tells you, or just having faith in yourself, and then being your own best friend. We got a lot of friends, but the best friend is in your own heart and soul. So um, just never give up on yourself, no matter where you are, or what you have or what you don't have. Don't think about it. Just keep keep grinding and doing what you love, and don't let nobody take that away from you.
incredible, timeless advice. Uh, Gavin, thank you so much for joining us this evening on Speaking from Water. Again, you are a legend to so many of us and have brought so many inspiration over the years.
Thank you for having me very much. It was a pleasure. I wish all my love to all the family over there, and thank you.
I'll tell them tomorrow you said so. I'll give them huge big ups from you. And guys, that was episode 46 of Speaking from Water. And what an epic episode it was. If you're still joining us, please smash up that like button. If you are on whatever you're on, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, that is the one way you can show your support for this channel. And with that said, I bid you a good night and a good day, good morning, whenever you're listening to this. Thank you so much. Thank you, Gavin, for joining us, and peace.
Aloha. Mahalos.
Mahalo, aloha. Gavin, thank you, my man. Like,
You